she has written. It's a fun book called A View from Abroad, and it has to do with her tour of Europe and various other places around the country. And then I was looking on the flyleaf, and it says about what I was going to say, and I'm just simply going to read it. It says, Bette Midler is without a doubt an original, outrageous, bawdy, touching, innocent, one of the unique personalities of our time. She is all of that. She is a super talent. She is also in a film called Divine Madness, which has been called kind of a capsule version of her concerts. And of course, she was sensational in the roles, and I'm delighted she's here. Bette Midler.
Like that, huh?
Yeah, it's a nice change from Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. That's what they always play. Oh, what a relief.
All things change.
Oh, thank God.
Hey, thanks for coming tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Really, I mean that.
My pleasure. Well, I haven't seen you in eight years. My goodness, 8 years.
Been 8 years since you've been in this chair.
8 years. Well, it wasn't exactly this chair, was it?
No, we have a new chair.
Oh, I'm glad. New set, too, I heard.
New set. We have to change the furniture. It was getting very shabby.
Yeah, I heard that, too.
Very.
Top flight show. First class.
I'm larger than life.
We'll also take you home in what they call them, a hoda, where you put them on the elephant and take you home in that.
It's nice to be here again.
You did something that didn't surprise me tonight.
What was that?
When you came out and you had these people were standing because they admire you, you got, I think, and I think I know you a little bit, you got rather embarrassed.
I'm mortified.
You get rather embarrassed. We spent some time sitting together about, what, two months ago?
Yeah.
At a party, and we talked, we were just...
You were great.
God,
you were so feisty. You were so talkative. Usually you're so sort of somber and sort of sedate and...
we were both...
We were both looped.
We really
got down.
We weren't looped, but we were kind of sitting away from the crowd, and we were just talking.
Yeah,
and I found some similarities, and I was reading through your book, which I adored, really. It's funny.
Thanks.
And you said something in here, and you showed it when you walked out here tonight. You said, I just got a letter today from the Johnson girls, two of my most loyal fans, telling me they had bought tickets for every show of mine in London. I am, of course, flattered. I am also troubled. I guess it's always troubling to be faced with that kind of devotion. Like most performers, I can deal with intense adulation from the multitudes, but as soon as it comes from a focused source, in other words, like a one-on-one basis or something, right?
Yes.
That gets too close.
Oh, yes.
Then all of a sudden, many performers become kind of shy.
Really terrified, actually.
Yeah, why is that?
I think it has to do with having to really show yourself and being afraid to, being timid to. You know, they think when you go out and you're very pizzazzy and you're full of, goodwill and fun, that's the way you are all the time. And you really aren't. Right. You know, you can't. No, I don't know anyone that's on all the time except maybe Robin Williams. And and it's hard to maintain that, you know. I can't maintain it. I lead a very circumspect life. I'm very quiet. And when they come at you, you know, then they'll say the oddest things to you, some of them. These girls actually do exist. And these girls, they exist, and they are the dearest people in the world. And all they want to do is just take my picture and shake my hand and love me. And they followed me all around the world, and I love them for it.
The nice thing you said about it was, wherever you were, it kind of gave you a feeling of being in a home base because they were there. So it was like you had some friends or something to share it with.
Yeah, it's like a family. It's like a family.
Yeah, I found out most performers were that way. See, you know why? I said it one night on the show. When you're up in front of an audience, you're in control.
Uh-huh.
You are kind of in charge. All of a sudden, on a one-on-one basis, absolute panic city.
Right.
So don't panic. We'll be back and panic with you in just a moment. Together. Well, here we are again.
Here we are again. I was just noticing Tommy Newsom's wearing the same suit. But Doc changed his image. You look
Yeah.
a lot better, dear.
Yeah, he's
Much better.
he's really getting very, very clothes conscious now.
Yeah, he's elegant, quite elegant.
Yeah.
Well, he's so rich, my God, after all these years.
Yeah. Have you changed much since?
I have changed.
In
I
8
am
years?
so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. I wish I had come out wearing my typewriter hat or some jokey thing. You know, I've gotten so sort of. You know, I'm really not the tacky broad that I once was, and it's sort of embarrassing, you know, because, you know, people remember you for your roots and that sort of thing, and tell you about your roots all the time. And here I am, so sort of Gloria Vanderbilt about it all now. I hate to say it, but I think I'm losing my sense of humor.
I don't think so.
Really.
No way.
Oh, I hope not, my dear. I
no
really
way.
do hope not.
It's the only
I really
thing
hope not.
that's the only way we survive.
We had some times, though, didn't we? Have some time. Well, we had
Yes, we
one
did.
time. One time, Johnny and I. He begged me. He begged me to open for him at the Congo room, the Congolium room, at the
Sahara
at the
Hotel.
Sahara Hotel. I opened for John Carson.
Believe
I was just a mere babe in arms, and he used to say that I dressed like a stolen car, or what was it?
You've never forgotten that line?
No,
have
I
you?
never forgot that line because I was so embarrassed. I was wearing an outfit that I really had to rip people off. I mean, I literally had to run.
I remember it.
Oh, it was awful.
Oh, no, it was wonderful.
It was awful. Actually, those clothes got stolen from me at the end of that job. I was sorry. They were wonderful clothes,
You came out
corsets.
in a Merry Widow corset type
Merry
of thing.
Widow,
And the
right.
audience, we were crazy. The band, we were going crazy. And some of the audience, you know, because you get a mix in Las Vegas. You get some sophisticated people, and you get a lot that came there in a large Winnebago.
That's right.
And you,
they love him.
walked out in this outfit, and some little old ladies from the Midwest with cherries, the hat was just spinning on top of their head. And you were wonderful. You were wonderful.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. The next time I went back to Las Vegas, actually, they didn't want me to ever come back.
Can you believe this?
I played Vegas. I played Caesar's Palace. I made a ton of money. It was the only time I ever made money in my whole career, because they didn't know exactly what they were getting. See, and then they saw. And I did a 2-hour show, and they only wanted 90 minutes. And I refused to cut it, and they were just furious at me because first of all, my crowd was like really low rent, and they would never go to the tables, you know. There was that problem, and then they also wouldn't drink, you know. They'd pay the cover, but they wouldn't buy the big,
they were
you know,
nuts.
the mums or anything like that.
Have you ever been surprised? I remember the early years when you worked the Continental Baths and you came on the Tonight Show. Now all the success that you've had, did you ever visualize it? It sounds like a corny question, but a lot of entertainers, when they're starting, visualize, say, here's what I want to do, here's where I hope to end up. Did you ever think it would be this big for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. But I saw the superficial things. I saw the superficial things, you
Right.
know. I saw myself riding in limos and wearing silks and
Like
carrying...
past success.
Really. I saw that part, but I didn't see the underpinnings of it.
You're right.
I didn't realize that the one thing that's worse than not being looked at is being looked at. I didn't realize that. And that's really terrifying. I mean, to go to the Hughes and have them follow you around and notice that you bought creamed herring, it's like, it's so horrible. It's so horrible. They follow you to the counter and they look at the food you buy, and I can only go to the fancy food section now.
Because they expect you to...
Because they don't want you to buy, you know, they don't want, oops, sorry. You know,
You don't want the TV frozen dinner.
No, they don't want you to buy that kind of garbage food that you were brought up with. They want you to sort of...
But they still do it, right?
Oh, not me, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, sure, you got to go out and trash it once in a while with some trashy food.
Yeah, well, I sort of prefer to go to other people's houses. They accommodate me in that way. I mean, it is embarrassing to go to those kind of public places and have them follow you around, have them sort of like whisper when they start to whisper behind your back. When I was a kid, I used to think people were saying my name, and now they do. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying because I've developed a twitch.
That goes along with the 6
It goes along with it. Yes, it does.
Comes with the territory, as they say.
Yes, it does.
Did you ever dress up and go out incognito, or want to just go out and
Have I ever gone incognito? I thought I was incognito a couple times.
Right.
Actually, if you wipe this face off, I'm really Don Rickles under this. There is no one under all this face. You know, I'm like Peter Sellers in that regard. I used to be much more anonymous. Ever since The Rose, I've been a lot more,
Yes,
more visible.
All
Because,
over
of
the
course,
world.
I looked a lot like that. I mean, I look like
This is
lot
a fun
like
book.
that. That's fun. I'm very proud of it.
Intriguing. Yeah, I saw in the paper that you went to autograph parties and would sit there for 6 hours.
Yes,
And
sometimes
sign a couple
8.
of thousand books, right? Did you stand?
My annuity.
Did you stand in line to get somebody to sign a book for 6 hours?
I thank the Lord.
Yeah.
I thank the Lord.
He had a bestseller, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, he never autographed it for
He never
anyone.
autographed it, right? When you went, did you meet the royalty when you were in England?
Oh, the Queen. Oh,
Oh, you actually met?
no, I never laid my 2 eyes on her. Actually, I stood outside the gate waiting for her carriage or her car. Nothing. Oh, but I
Nothing?
love her. I love her to death. She is the whitest woman in the whole world. She is. There is
Somehow
no question that she's a Protestant.
Somehow I cannot picture the Queen at one of your concerts. I don't know why.
Oh, but she goes to everyone's but mine. I was so upset.
Really?
Oh, really? She went to Olivia Newton-John. She's seen Helen Reddy. I mean, you know, I mean, she's, well, of course, they're sort of, they
Middle-
belong to her country.
middle,
I mean,
yeah.
they're sort of colonials and all
What's
that.
the closest you got to, how about a couple of
To royal-
dukes? Or...
No, a couple of gay boys on Santa Monica Island. Someone once invited me to a party. Someone once invited me to a party at for Queen Mum. It was her 80th birthday.
Mother.
She wasn't going to be there, of course. They were just having a celebration. Oh, they're so divine. I really
Yes.
do like them. I had my eye on Prince Charles for many, many years.
Did you get to meet the Prince? No, not even the Prince.
No. Well, no, not even a prince. Really, too bad. I thought for a long time he was going to marry Princess Caroline, you know.
Well, she just got split up, didn't
Oh,
she?
yes, isn't it sad? Isn't it sad? But I like the fact that there are people like that you can actually read about. It's kind of a respite from all this gloom and doom that goes on in the
Isn't it
world.
though?
Yeah, it's nice to see gorgeous people being perfectly stupid with their lives. You know,
They can do
spending
it,
money
too.
and just making fools of themselves. It's such fun.
Yeah. Do you
So
have
human.
anything that could be referred to as a meaningful, I love this, meaningful relationship in your life now?
Oh, no.
I don't know what that means.
No,
exactly,
I
but-
know, no. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
You wouldn't?
No.
Why not?
No, because I never like to talk about that stuff
I don't
because
either.
then they get then your partner gets like nervous, you know, and they
Oh, you
feel
have a
like
partner
they.
then?
Well, yeah, I have 1 or 2. I try to keep in contact with. Yeah.
That's right, you're an equal
You mean a-
opportunity employer.
Well, men, what can I say? They're
Did you
really
s-
not good for much, but they're good for 1 or 2 things.
Did you?
know?
Oh,
Well, they can change a tire, you know.
I lo-
No, I like them, you
I
know.
saw a show on
like them,
television
but
the other night
gee
called The
whiz.
Women's Room. Did you see that?
No, I missed it.
The
I heard
show
it was
called The
great.
Women's Room, and they made every man in the place look like the most vicious, puerile, snotty stormtrooper. I mean,
Oh, I know quite a few men like that. I bet it's pretty accurate. All men are not like that. Some men are noble. Some men are noble. Some men are honest and noble and have a lot to offer. But these days, it's kind of, they don't write about them, you know, and you don't hear about them in the news. So you get a constant inundation of one kind of information, and it's mostly negative, and you really wind up hating human beings.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that everyone isn't a complete misanthrope. I mean, in
Yeah.
the world. Wouldn't you? I mean, you would spend 2 weeks with the New York Times and you would hate everyone, wouldn't you?
well,
I mean,
because the
I had to
papers-
give up reading the New York Times. I got so bummed out. So... You read these things and you say, I would get up in the morning and I would have a cup of coffee. I would sit down. I made the mistake of ordering the Times, and I would
then by
sit
the
down with the
time
Times.
you're
And I would start to scream, no, no, and that's how I started
Yeah.
my day. And finally, I decided I don't really want to start my day. Of course, you watch the news here in LA, and there is no news. So it's, you know,
We do yesterday's news. We're day delayed.
they
here.
really are, aren't
We do
they?
yesterday's news.
It's such a nice, sleepy kind of town.
Maybe you should just get the Valley Green sheet out here and read all of it. Find out where the swap meets are. I
Oh, I love that.
gotta take a break.